Hey everybody, this is Simply Super Dave coming at you with another episode of Staying Super with Simply Super Dave. How typical is that? This one's going to be a little deep one for you, but hope you hang on for the ride. All right. Look, I was watching this wonderful TikTok talking about biology, herbal biology, exactly. Herbology, I guess is what you would call that, or what it. I'm not a professional here. This is a dumbass talking about really nice, deep things, so bear with me. If you want a prose look, go look on the Harvard University website or something like that. But I saw, like I said, an interesting TikTok talking about plants, and basically is where I was going, and how they're sentient beings, basically living life forms among us. And, like, for instance, the reticles on a plant, the little hairs and all that, have the same kind of background as the back of our eyeballs in our retina. So basically, plants can see you if they have that feature on them, which most plants do, actually. Just think of a spider, right? Um, Multiple eyes. Not only that, but they can think and they interact like a brain does. In other words, the way their body reacts is how the brain does. So basically, the plant is a brain with a little exoskeleton around it, I guess you can say. Uh, but it just brings the level of thought to my theory on energy and how energy to me, the natural energy of this earth, is what I think is God, what we know as God, and everything on this planet knows as God, is this energy that we all feel connected about each other. Have you ever noticed people with certain, I don't know, ailments or injuries that have happened to them that they can detect weather before it gets to you because your body reacts to the energy levels among the earth? And so when you feel that thunderstorm of mass energy and electricity coming towards you, you can get a sense and a bearing from it. There's so many evident little signs that show this big interconnectability, ability among the species of this planet. And for humans, we are just at a level where we can self realize all these things. So, what do you do with that? You try to figure out if there's an end game or a purpose or something like that. And that's usually what leads to our demise and our thinking because we think there's an end. And yes, there's an end in our viewpoint. Like any other species on this planet, it either evolves from this to become something else, blah, blah, blah. And it happens over thousands and thousands of years. So our lifetime, it's very rare to see a historic world change compared to, life change. It's a big drastic difference. The human story on this planet is, may end one day, but the story of the planet is endless. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense? It's like we got to step outside of ourselves to see the bigger picture. And so when you start living as a people with that knowledge or a humble viewpoint of realizing that you know what, that's kind of my point. This civilization of humans, because it's almost like the Matrix. You find out that it's happened before. It's happened many times before. They destroy humanity to a level where it rebuilds itself, and blah 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 blah. But it's not like the Matrix in real life. In real life, there's things that have happened on this planet in primal times and ancient before times, and there's been civilizations. They've been wiped out. We've rebuilt. We're like ants, and we're on this generation or cycle, I say cycle, of human beings on this planet. And this cycle figured out the Industrial Revolution. And what makes that different from every other cycle or civilization before us is that we took things from the earth and created these dead things that transmit a false energy built from all the things we took from the planet. Uh, there's a difference between harvesting and growing something and just totally stripping it to where it can't grow anything. Okay, that's a different way because you destroy and rebuild with harvesting, and you just destroy with stripping. And this civilization of human beings didn't find a way to coexist with the planet and build its energy. Instead, it stripped for it. You know what I'm saying? Which explains to me why they had a further, deeper technology of dealing with stone and tech and building, and and because they were far more advanced than us in a natural way, as we have went a artificial way. And what has led for the Industrial Revolution over the last 100 plus years is the birthright of this internet age and the creation of artificial intelligence, which takes our outside self-realization thinking as a human race and puts it into forever as long as that false energy exists. And I think that will lead us into, we are, I don't know what to call that, the end times of our cycle. But like I said, even through the end times, if you believe in that biblical prophecy and so forth, is that afterwards it does continue on. Like the whole, the setting, the earth, all that, it does continue. It may burn to a crisp, but just like anything else that is existing and growing, like plants, it will regrow. Because that energy, all those nutrients, all that, it's still there. It's still there. So the deep thought of the day is when you walk outside. Because, I mean, seriously, think about everything that you have on your body is a product of the Industrial Revolution. The rubber soles that keep you disconnected from the electricity and natural energy that is on the earth. Think about it. Really think about it. Think about that's what rubber is supposed to do, is protect you. It disconnects you from that electric charge. That's why I say touch the grass, folks. I know it's a term that's fatty and all that, fatty like fat, but like a fad. But it's fatty. and one day it'll go away, but touch that fucking grass. Take off the shoes or just put your hands down. It doesn't matter. Lay down in it. It feels tremendous. I know bugs and dirt. Oh, look, if you are that brainwashed to think that you can't get dirty, I encourage you to go get dirty. That's all I got to say, because you need to be. That is the natural. Oh my God. That is such a deep subject, and I know it's controversial now, which is hilarious to me, that we have become a society where we think we can self-control ourselves from the world around us. Instead, you need to embrace the world. And it's just so weird, because there ain't nothing we can do about it, right? The Industrial Revolution has done what it has done to the planet, and we're living amongst it, trying to make the best of it. But it's inevitable with the creation of AI that things are going to go in such a weird direction, to the point where humanity won't be able to keep up that with its own creation. And that's the scary part, because once we start doing things we don't understand, we really don't have control. And this brings a point, another thing. So let's forget about the world view of things, like the climate change and all that. That's all going to happen, all right? That's inevitable. So I don't waste my time with those arguments about climate change, because there's history of climate change for millions of years, and I've always believed in it. If you want to tell me there's something we can do about it, that's great, but in reality, we both know that's just like talking about anything else that's theoretical. Period. That's the end of story on that topic. Because it's going to happen. There ain't nothing you can do to stop it. Whether it's an ice age or we burn to a crisp. Whichever one you want to believe in. But it will keep going. Either way, it always survives either one. So even water, So it's whatever it is. It's an amazing world when you look at the history past our own little chapter, our paragraph in the world's history. Really, seriously, that's how small we really are, but how big we think of ourselves. And every now and then you got to step back and look at the bigger picture and realize the living things around you are alive, and they are vastly more advanced than you. They just don't have the control on the planet like you do, based on what we done with the Industrial Revolution. You are living in the Industrial Revolution. If you live in an apartment or a house, you're the part of the Industrial Revolution. And it goes way, way, way back before even the technical Rockefeller days. But Rockefeller really is a story I'd suggest anybody that wants to know why you're living the way you are today, from what medicines you have to take to the very vehicle you are riding in and the very plastics that are surrounding you. And I'm even talking about the medications that you take, all centralized around what J.D. Rockefeller did in the early 1900s, late 1800s. Really go back and look at that. You'll realize the Titanic sinking probably was a hit job more than an accident. And I'd say dig into that rabbit hole. There is so much there that has led us to the point where this internet age finally happened, which I don't think was ever foreseen. I think there was a more alternative plan, but the creation of AI is going to be its own downfall for all these people that are in charge of our societies today, and why America is still, to me, the greatest nation on the planet. And you say why? Because that sounds very arrogant to say. It really does. I've always understood that. But think about it. We are a collection of every other nation. And in a time like during the pandemic where every other nation bent and made their citizens do whatever for whatever interest or reason or freedoms, if they rebelled or whatever it is, the government called the shots, the people had to do it. France right now is revolting because of things like this. Other countries are revolting over things like this. Some countries are becoming awake because they never knew before, like North Korea. They even had the words like depression and oppression, not even in their dictionaries. Whole fucking lifetimes of people that don't even know what the word even means. Much less can you feel that way if you don't know it exists, right? That's how mind-controlled this whole world can possibly be. You think I'm lying? Look it up. That is a real factual story, folks. Everything I'm telling you is something I have found that, they don't talk about together, but it all makes sense once you kind of piece it together. Why America is so fucking great? Because here, in 1776, an accident happened. We were able to a free people running for freedom. They wanted to just worship God wherever they wanted to be. They just wanted to live whatever. But then, government always happens. You have to have government. It's a necessary evil. But they set it up in this country where people come before government. It's never been done before. And so it became a blueprint. I think actually we stole it from the Jamaicans, because they were like right there with us doing the same thing, except they did it right. I'm not knocking America here, but we did monetize ourselves to the point where we are now on the verge of giving up everything this country was founded on to become just like every other nation on the planet. And that I am totally against. 100%. I don't give a fuck about the world peace kind of idea of we all get on the same page. No. There's no sense of security any politics can ever give me. Period. Because I was taught here in this country, and I know very well from history within our own government and the way that it's treated its people, that they will deceive you and take you in the wrong direction if you give them the opportunity. We always have to keep them in check, and they have bought out everything. The news organizations were once very loyal to the American people before Mr. JFK was assassinated. They kept us well informed about our politicians, ran them down, risked their very lives to report stories of the truth. You don't hear about that these days because the truth is already given to them. And they don't have a choice. And if they go off script, nobody ever hears about it because there's no independent news organization out there willing to report it. And if they are, they're to the point where we're so brainwashed that we find anything they report to be discreditable. It has to go through this thorough wash of different people finally admitting the truth before then you find out there's corruption and lies and covers-ups, and there's a lot of truth being hidden from the American people. That's because before Mr. JFK was assassinated, they were independent. They based their reputations of their news based on the truth, and getting it right and exposing the dirty truth as well as talking about the great, wonderful things that we've accomplished in this world. And JFK wanted them to stay true to that. But luckily for JFK, or well, for the corporate America, JFK was assassinated, and that allowed them access to buy up all news media in the 60s. Once that happened, everything that we've seen on TV since the 60s has been a narrative to push you to believe in a certain way to keep you separated, to make sure y'all don't unify against the government that decides to make rules for you without you questioning them. Question everything the government does. I don't care if it even does favor you. There might be strings attached that you don't see. You may take this as a yes, this sounds like a great idea, but no, I don't agree to that. And that way far outweighs the good. Don't take those deals. And we've been taking them far too long. And so we are the last stand between total government control of the planet. We are that last standing, and they have been fighting hard from within to make you believe the far right is right, the far left is right. Truth is, we need both you motherfuckers, but we don't need you standing so far on the edge of the boat that you're going to capsize us one day. Need you to step on the inside edges, come together, realize that we are all here from every other nation in the world trying to pull off the impossible. And that is coming here for freedom, equality, respect among men that want to live a good life. We are the last stand of a nation of good people, but all they want to show you on TV is how evil you are and how bad you can be and how selfish of a country you are. Be that selfish fucking country, because you are the embodiment of everything from every other country that is good that got away from it. Think about it. You have all the pleasures and freedoms to celebrate your traditions from any other country you come from, but you don't have to suffer the consequences of being yourself in this one. Think about it. That is the freedom that people die for, to protect, to make sure other people they've never met in their entire lives get to take for granted. That's why I love our military so much. But when it's held by control of a political government I don't trust, I couldn't serve in it. But I know it's needed. These are the tiny subjects where you can't stand on the extreme of. You have to find the middle, because you can't take away what you need, even though you have nothing to do with it. You understand you need them on that wall. You want them on that wall. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, right? We all play a part. We can't stand on sides. We have to come together. So I know I've taken this podcast from the world extreme of plants. You're a living thing. You're non-important. But in our story, if you want to live a happy life, you can't let government make the decisions. You got to trust our government to be a tool that it's supposed to be to keep things running in this country the way it's supposed to be ran. But once it starts running you, and instead of being the tool, being the master, then that is the reason why our Constitution was written, where we can overthrow that. I know that's a scary word, and people are brainwashed to think that is treasonous, when it's the most patriotic thing that an American can do. Your news organizations can't do it anymore. Nobody else can do it for you. You can't trust anybody anymore. So what does that mean, folks? That means each and every single one of us motherfuckers need to stand up and question every fucking thing in front of us. Find out the truth, come together, do what's best for us, for freedom, equality, and respect. And most importantly, the pursuit of motherfucking happiness. How we're going to get there is not through our hate and fear of one another, but how we both love and laugh the same. Focus on our similarities and we'll get through the storm. Focus on our differences, we'll sink like a rock. Love and laughter conquers hate and fear, folks. I hope you're getting the picture. Come join me. I'm at the table. Get your woke up asses out of the bed. Come have a cup of coffee with good old Dave. Have a great Taco Tuesday. Dave out.